Well, it's wonderful to be with all of you today here in Malaysia. I wish we could be together in person to celebrate your anniversary event, but congratulations on another great year. It's amazing to see what's happened over the last year. Even during a time of pandemic, many people have been introduced to the essential oils and are being blessed because of the power of essential oils within their families. So thanks to you for sharing that. You know, as a company, one of the important players within the essential oil industry, we're committed to promoting and ensuring the sustainable supply of high quality, pure and natural essential oils. And in doing so, we want to make it a positive experience in the lives of our partners, including farmers, harvesters, the distillers we work with, and their communities. As a company, our sourcing goals have always been to provide the very best quality essential oils while helping the greatest number of people possible. I've been with doTERRA for 10 years, and one of the things that attracted me most during my earliest days was the desire the founding executives and other employees of doTERRA had to help as many people as possible through our essential oils in the way that we interact with people and associate with them as well. I quickly saw that Healing Hands was not just a philanthropic arm of the company, but it was really at the heart and central to what the company culture was about. Really, it's who we are. It was no wonder that as doTERRA continued to grow and work directly with farmers and distillers of our beautiful essential oils, many opportunities came to light of how doTERRA could help and lift those who provide us with these beautiful essential oils. It wasn't long until our sourcing model developed to include what we call co-impact sourcing, or creating shared value for all stakeholder partners. In many cases, there were opportunities to strengthen the communities that provided us these gifts of the earth by creating jobs, building capacity, and providing fair and on-time payments. At doTERRA, we have created an entirely new system, one that has the capacity to truly empower thousands of small-scale farmers around the globe and provide a sustainable, long-term supply of the purest and most potent essential oils in the world. Our sourcing model truly is unique. Instead of working through giant commercial farms, we choose to partner with existing small-scale farmers, most of whom have had their family farms for several generations. Some of them have struggled to continue farming on a small scale. One example of this is a fourth-generation family company called Amadeo Giovanni, which provides us with our beautiful bergamot. The Amadeo family has been producing citrus since the 1850s. Salvador Amadeo, who you can see here in the red jacket in the upper right photo, has been a partner of doTERRA along with his brothers for several years. I had the opportunity, along with leaders from China and Taiwan, to visit their farm in southern Italy in the beautiful Calabria area and see firsthand the love that they have for providing these high-quality citrus oils. One of the challenges Salvador shared with us was the ever-changing price buyers were willing to pay for bergamot. This made it challenging to grow a business and really develop the business, as they were never really quite sure what the coming season would bring in terms of prices and costs for their citrus. Since partnering with doTERRA, they can count on fair and on-time payments, and this has really enabled them to significantly expand their businesses and provide jobs for many in southern Italy. Now let me diagram for you how co-impact sourcing model works for doTERRA. Co-impact sourcing is about creating shared values for all involved in the supply chain by being at the source and intentionally implementing environmental stewardship and/or social impact initiatives. As a company, we have to be at the source to know our partners and be effective at working with them, as well as through sustainable processes. The co-impact sourcing model then meets at least one of two, or maybe both criteria. The first is to ensure environmental stewardship, which includes sustainability, preservation, and reducing impact on the environment. I'll give a couple examples of this in a moment. The second is to provide solutions that lift and build people out of poverty by developing jobs, providing fair and on-time payments, ensuring fair labor conditions, empowering capacity building, and strengthening community development. Let me first share an example of how we ensure environmental stewardship. The Kaliakala Mountain Reserve, known as KMR, is located on the west coast slopes of the island of Hawaii. It's also known as the Big Island. For decades, this 10,000-acre area has been used as a cattle ranch. But as of the last couple years, it has been converted back to a native Hawaiian sandalwood forest that it used to be, under conservation, which is being overseen by the state of Hawaii. KMR is now the largest native reforestation initiative in Hawaii, with over 114,000 trees planted through 2020, and expect an additional 120,000 trees planted this year. doTERRA's sustainable operation of Hawaiian sandalwood through KMR and this native reforestation initiative received over 1,000 wellness advocates early last year prior to COVID to learn about doTERRA's conservation and reforestation efforts. KMR recently partnered with a nonprofit organization, Hiki Ola, to provide educational opportunities for local students. Students have the opportunity to take field trips to the reserve, participate in seedling and planting projects, and have virtual class activities focused on conservation and land management. Another example of sourcing with environmental stewardship is our beautiful Douglas fir, which we source from the South Island of New Zealand. Douglas fir is native to the northwestern coast of North America. But in 1859, the Douglas fir trees were introduced to New Zealand. And because of the favorable climate, they grow much faster there in New Zealand than they do in the United States. As a result, the New Zealand Forest Service chose to plant many Douglas fir as a timber species. While these trees are beautiful and have helped with their building processes, they have covered huge areas of land and have actually invaded native ecosystems, farmland, and water catchments. As the local government became aware of the problems caused by wilding Douglas fir, they were forced to manage the continued spread of these and other invasive trees. doTERRA, along with our locally owned doTERRA entity, collects and processes the needles of young Douglas fir saplings, as well as the growth of older trees to produce our wonderful Douglas fir essential oil. The production of essential oil from young wilding trees, as we call them, in pre-coning stages, as well as from new growth on older trees, helps to prevent the further spread of these new wilding trees. As you can see from this map, doTERRA sources our essential oils from over 45 countries around the world, with more than half being developing or underdeveloped countries. In total, over 170 unique oils are sourced to bring all of the individual and blend oils that we have come to love. And because of doTERRA's sourcing practices, the oils we source are 99% exclusive to doTERRA. Because of our broad sourcing reach, we are able to limit risks by diversification. For example, we source tea tree from Australia, but we also source tea tree from Kenya, where we have a great partner program with small outgrowers there. This also enables farmers to gain a regular income by diversifying their crops and methods of working. On this map, as you look at the dark gray, that represents sourcing countries, or where we source our essential oils. The oils in green shows countries or areas where we source, where we call co-impact sourcing areas focused on environmental stewardship, similar to what we just discussed with our Hawaiian sandalwood and Douglas fir from New Zealand. The lavender color on this map represents co-impact sourcing areas where we have significant social impact through various projects. Now let's turn to some examples of sourcing areas where we are helping to lift people and communities out of poverty through our social impact efforts. We now source many of our oils in Kenya. We have many farmers who have been lifted out of poverty as a result of partnering with doTERRA. A few years ago, the woman in the photo on the left side of your screen was working the ground in her area of Kenya planting corn. Her name is Rebecca, and at the time she was a 30-year-old mother with 6 children. Rebecca was doing everything she could to support her family alongside her husband, who worked as a coal miner. As a corn farmer, Rebecca wasn't making very much money, but every little bit helped her family. Then she came to learn about doTERRA and began planting and harvesting ginger instead of corn. As a result, her income is 5 times more than what it was before. Now, it turns out that the land where she was farming her corn, she didn't own. She was actually a squatter. She just was farming some land that was there. Because of doTERRA, Rebecca was able to begin farming on part of a 300-acre plot purchased by doTERRA, along with other farmers. In the coming years, doTERRA plans to shift property rights and land ownership to these local farmers, including people like Rebecca. In this way, we are empowering hard-working farmers to lift their families out of poverty and to provide a meaningful income and future for their families. Another example of how we are helping to empower people and communities is with our wintergreen sourcing that happens in Nepal. doTERRA has a long history supporting the communities in Nepal. Several years ago, there were earthquakes that took place, and doTERRA went in quickly to help rebuild villages there. A couple of years ago, my wife and I had the opportunity to join a group of wellness advocates from Australia to visit Nepal, where we source this wonderful wintergreen. While there, we had the opportunity to help build a driveway in front of a hospital expansion being built in conjunction with Healing Hands. This primary health center in Ramachop provides immediate access medical care to community members who would otherwise have to travel at least 2 hours with limited public transportation options to the nearest medical facility. This center now benefits at least 3,000 families, including many of our sourcing farmers and partners, as well as their families, or 15,000 individuals, and includes a heating system and insulation to create a safer birthing and newborn environment. This hospital, as well as an additional hospital funded by doTERRA Healing Hands east of Kathmandu, have been integral in helping to prevent the spread of COVID-19 with the large influx of migrants that returned to their home villages when COVID first broke out. This hospital will service several of our wintergreen harvesters now and for years to come. A final example of how co-impact sourcing and Healing Hands supports our farmers and harvesters and their communities is with frankincense. Frankincense resins have been widely sought for thousands of years. Due to lack of development and regulation, frankincense trees are often over-harvested, meaning they have too many cuts, or they are cut too deep to harvest the resins. And in some areas, the conservation from wild growing areas to cultivated agricultural or grazing areas has cleared out many existing frankincense trees. doTERRA understands the need for sustainable and responsible sourcing of frankincense resins and is a significant leader in driving solutions to help these trees thrive for generations to come. In addition to ensuring the sustainability of frankincense through our co-impact sourcing efforts, doTERRA Healing Hands has significantly impacted the communities, which brings us these beautiful oils. For example, the Sanang Specialty Hospital in Somaliland, pictured at the upper section of this slide, services an area home to approximately 1/3 of Somaliland's total population. And fortunately, it is also home to one of the world's highest maternal and child mortality rates. 1 in 10 children die before the age of 5, and 1 in 22 women will likely die due to pregnancy or a birth-related cause during their lifetime. Earlier this year, doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation and our local partners opened the Sanang Specialty Hospital, a nonprofit regional hospital, along with other education and humanitarian initiatives. The first phase of this hospital includes a 45-bed facility and supports accident and emergency, OPD, diagnostics, maternity, and pediatric care. doTERRA is truly making a difference in the lives of our growers, harvesters, and their communities in Somaliland. In conclusion, doTERRA is changing the world one drop, one person, one community at a time through our co-impact sourcing efforts, as well as through many additional Healing Hands projects throughout the world. As of this year, over 300,000 jobs are supported due to doTERRA's sourcing efforts, and 1.6 million lives are positively impacted by those jobs and also the multiple social impact projects of co-impact sourcing and Healing Hands. Thank you for what you're doing to help share the power of doTERRA essential oils with all of your family and friends in Malaysia. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your anniversary and look forward to being with you soon. Thank you.